Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Tawana Rivers. I am the CEO of the 10K Project, and we are here again for another amazing Bet on Black pitch with more amazing Black founders. And so thank you all for joining us. This evening, I'm excited to introduce you to Calvin Roberson with Marriage Ain't for Punks. You may recognize him as Pastor Cal from Married at First Sight. I'll let him tell you all about that. We also have Mr. Julius Green, who is from Black Dollar Network. I will also let him introduce himself to you. I'll turn it over to the gentleman in one moment, but you guys know I always like to start with talking a little bit about the campaign, showing you where it is. Gentlemen, we'll be putting the campaign link in the chat and in the comment section of the Facebook Live throughout the evening, so you don't have to worry about that. We will take care of that. But I always like to share my screen and go to the campaign first so that the community can, first of all, see what it looks like, navigate the page just a little bit. So I'll just spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes here. So this campaign is on Seat at the Table. You guys know we love Seat at the Table. It is a Black-owned investment crowdfunding platform. And so we love the work that they're doing over there. This campaign is listed on their page, right? And so Married Ain't for Punks. I just love the name of that because that is so true. I am going to click in the campaign so I can show you just some of the details. All right. This campaign is just starting. So it's a brand new campaign, right? So we are getting one of the first looks. I always love when we get the first look because we are the family and friends here, right? That are getting the first look at this campaign. And so they are looking to raise $300,000. They have one backer currently at $250. $250 is also the minimum amount, right? So a very reasonable entry point, in my opinion. You guys know I always tell you the importance of looking at all of the information on the campaign page. Why do I say that? Because the founders put a lot of energy and work effort into making sure this campaign page has everything they believe you need to know about the campaign. And so we see the pitch deck here. There is some other overview information. I'm just going to scroll through here. Some videos for you to watch, right? You see some information about Pastor Cal. Okay. And so anything else that you are interested in knowing that you don't ask this evening, maybe you wake up in the morning, you've got some questions. There's also a section here where you can ask additional questions, right? There are no questions currently because we are getting one of the first looks, but this is where you would put your question and Pastor Cal or members of his team would answer the questions here. I love this section because oftentimes people ask questions that we didn't think of and it allows us to learn not just more about the campaign itself, but oftentimes about investing and how the process works, right? So become familiar with the page, look at everything, obviously do due diligence. I always tell you that. With that said, I am going to turn this over to the gentlemen to introduce themselves and tell us about Marriage Ain't for Punks. Pastor Cal, I'll turn it over to you first.
Great. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Tawana. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for this opportunity to share what we believe is a game-changing app, and we're just happy to bring it to you guys. With me, Julius, I'll introduce you, or would you? I'll just do it. Okay, Julius. Julius Green, we've worked together for years. He also has an app, an incredible app called Black Dollar Network that I'm a big fan of. But in addition to that, he and I have worked together in other business ventures, franchise ventures, etc. And it's just great to have him working with me on this project also as our financial wizard. So I'm happy to have him. He's my personal accountant because I want people around me that I can trust. So I so appreciate that. All right, let me talk to this astute. Julius, have something you want to say before I continue? Okay, I'll bring you in though. Let me as we meet with this astute group of potential investors and entrepreneurs. What we're doing is that we're actually changing the game. As some of you may know about what I do, some may not. For the last 25 years, actually, I've been counseling, coaching couples for marriage, pre-marriage, pre-divorce, and divorce. So we've actually been, my wife and I, Wendy and I, have been doing this for years. But for the last 16 seasons, I've been on a show on Lifetime called Married at First Sight. And it's been an interesting show, a blessing, and sometimes a challenge. But one thing that's come out of that is that we've seen the value of marriage, and we get so many people who ask us on a continuous basis, to match them or to help them with marriage, their marriage issues or challenges. And so what I've done is that one morning we woke up and I thought about it and it just came to me. I believe in divine intervention. I think it just came to me. And I decided that we're going to do an app. And that's what I'm about to show you by the same name of the book I wrote some years ago called Marriage Ain't for Punks. Okay, shameless plug right there. But I'm going to show you now this, wherever books are sold. But I'm going to show you this, give you just a brief presentation now. All right, let me share this. Great. And I assume you guys can see that. If so, can you?
Yes, we can see
Great.
it well.
Fantastic. All right, here's what we're doing. We are building a marriage community like no other. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So the whole idea behind the app is to build a community that is a one-stop resource for all things marriage for those people in the married and the pre-married communities. One app, two applications. Now, I didn't say dating, I said pre-marriage, because our focus is on marriage. For people who are married, there will be just voluminous resources. For those who want to get married, it is a matchmaking service online. So at the onboarding process, you'll have a choice to either go with the married side or the pre-marriage side. Now, let me continue here. Okay. Now, here's our mission. Our mission basically is to revolutionize the way people approach relationships. If anybody who's been single or in the marriage community, you understand that that marriages, relationships need help. We want to provide a platform that's comprehensive, marriage focused, that empowers people to build and sustain thriving partnerships. Now, here's the problem, especially when it comes to dating, but also when it comes to people who are married and need help. When it comes to dating, if you're single out there, and I assume a lot of you are, because there are about 33 participants, for those people who are single, if you've been on apps, you'll know that it's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. Swiping left, swiping right, it becomes disposable. People become disposable. And so the existing dating apps they lack a focus on long-term relationships, and they do not provide just comprehensive resources. As a matter of fact, I only know of one company that provides resources for married couples, and that's not even in the US, it's in the UK. And so we're about to do something that's completely different that I don't believe that the relationship game has seen. And I think it's an incredible time to do this because the growing demand for a dedicated marriage-focused platform still prevails. It's still there. This is actually a disruptive solution. And I think the market is ripe for this. In our study of any new upstarts or any tech upstarts, the one catchword that's pretty pervasive in all of them is a disruptive technology. And I believe that that's what this is. It's going to disrupt the way people do dating, the way people do marriage. I think it's a great time to be a part of this. You may know me, not going to talk a lot about me. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I do a lot of speaking around. I'm an author, as I just shown you. I've done a few TV shows, as you can see here. But what I want to share with you is the fact that we are already out here promoting this. We're already telling people and showing people that the app is coming. And I want to just take a moment and share with you just briefly a little piece that I did on KTLA, which is Los Angeles County's one of their largest morning show, reaching roughly about 7 to 9 million people. Let's take a look.
Pastor Counselor, it's nice to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
We've had so many interesting conversations backstage. Before we get to things about the show, people love the show. Speaking of love, you and your wife, we were trolling the social media. A romantic trip to Paris.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great for, look how nice.
Lovely.
Oh, there we go. Let's go.
She makes me look good.
Okay. Do you think couples who just get to know, are just starting out in a relationship, should they travel together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Travel, I mean, increases experiences and getting to know each other in different environments. You know, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, I encourage people to get
The
out.
video is not showing.
Can you not see the video?
Yeah, there we go. All right. Can you
You can see it now?
yes. If you could
Okay.
slide it over, that would be great.
How's that?
Pastor Counselor, it's nice to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
We've had so many interesting conversations backstage.
Let me fast forward that.
To Paris.
Yeah.
Okay, that's starting out in a relationship. Should they travel together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Travel, I mean, increases experiences and getting to know each other in different environments. You know, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, I encourage people to get out and explore life. It's the beauty of marriage, man.
All right, speaking of the beauty of marriage, and you probably heard this when you became involved with the show, I think some people think Married at First Sight, the TV show marries them, that not denigrates marriage, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not respectful of the institution.
Oh, absolutely it is. I want you to think of it as a new take on arranged marriages. And arranged marriages have been around throughout antiquity. We've had people, you know, getting married based on families, based on legacy, based on joining unions and tribes together. So this is sort of a new take, and it's not as random as you would think. We vet people for 3 to 4 months before putting them together.
And then you said something that's very interesting to me. That one participant said, you know, they're just tired so much of the typical dating and all the apps and everything.
Right, absolutely. Most people who come to us are sick of dating. They're sick of swiping left and right, and they're looking for their forever person. And so what we do is we take them through the ringer, but we find their hopefully forever person, you know? So most people are excited to join.
And then can you tell when you perform these ceremonies, can you tell, you know what, these two are going to make it or these two aren't going to make it?
Oh gosh, I wish I could perform the ceremony. I don't perform them, but we have every hope and desire that they will make it. But when the cameras come on and the tension and the pressure hits, sometimes the people are completely different than what we had expected.
What's the track record?
Oh, wow. Well, we're roughly about 20 to 25%, I would say, success. We have 15 couples who are thriving. We have 12 babies plus.
Wow.
So there have been 15 families that we've actually created, and more babies coming.
There we go. Well, there we go. Amen to that.
Yeah.
There's a quick
Amen to that.
at Married at First Sight. Watch, new episode.
Do you feel as though at this point in your life that if we were to find you a match, that you could go the long haul?
100%, yeah.
Tell me why.
I think it's just like who I am as a person. Like I give all the time. It's like really important to me to always be my best, to be the best for others.
Right.
Like I just feel like marriage is a one-time thing and I want this to like be it.
That's good. I want you to remember that, because I do believe there's great potential. And very soon, we're going to be letting you know.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Anxiously awaiting.
You know, very soon actually is now, because in 2 weeks you're getting married.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh,
Pastor,
Yikes.
I know.
I'm worried about, she seems like a very nice girl, but she's
She's a
pretty
great
young.
Well, she's old enough.
Okay.
Married.
Yeah.
She's not too young. No, but it's an interesting comment because we do guard against people who we feel are not ready or too
Right.
young.
Yeah.
If you're younger than 25, I get nervous.
Right. You have a matchmaking app. Tell us about that.
You know, we get so many requests for people outside of the show who can't be married. So my wife and I, we're developing a marriage community because we believe that marriages need other people to help them. And we're facilitating that through an app called Marriage Ain't for Punks.
Okay.
It's the same name of the book that I wrote a few years ago.
I like it.
Marriage ain't for punks because there's work involved.
Oh my God. If you've been married more than 6 months, you understand what that means. Because you need not only help, but you need grit. And you need to know how to forgive and how to overcome and how to love in spite of. It's a real serious pursuit.
you make it sound so fun.
And it's fun.
And it's, but those pictures in Paris tell the story of you and your son.
Yeah.
But lastly, let me ask you this, because so many couples live together now without getting married.
Mhm.
Are they amateurs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that people still want marriage because there's a certain permanency with it.
Mhm.
You know, there are boundaries. If you're just living together, you always have an out. You always have an out, you know. But once that contract, that legally binding contract happens, you're in a school that you're not going to graduate from. That's it.
That is
Yeah, great.
funny.
I just want to get a passing grade.
Oh, yes.
Don't miss season 17 of Married at First Sight.
And that's pretty much one of the advertisements that we've done, one of the things we've done to get the word out there about the app coming. We've done Good Morning America already. We've done Atlanta Fox Live. We're on DC Fox Live. We've done a number of online digital venues, digital magazines, etc. But that's just letting you know that we're in the process, the serious process of moving forward with our app. Now, what does this mean? Right now, the dating app is a $10.5 billion industry in 2023. These are 2023 projections. It's projected that in 2024, it will be an $11.9 billion industry. So it's not slowing down. The dating app industry is increasing, it's exploding. And some of the big hitters that you see here that you're probably familiar with, Tinder and Bumble and Hinge and Plenty of Fish, a lot of these are owned by Match Group. Match.com and Tinder are owned by Match Group. And I believe that Bumble is as well. And a lot of these companies, they started and they were purchased immediately. Okay, as soon as they became viable, they were purchased. Is that our plan? Not yet. We don't know, but it's an option. It's always an option. So what does this mean for you? First of all, one good thing it means is that we've hired, pretty much, we've enlisted the help of an incredible person who you may know the name, you may not, Robert Frederick, who is the president and CEO of Circle. Let me tell you who Robert Frederick is. He's the co-founder of Amazon Web Services, an AWS marketplace. And he's led Amazon's mobile initiatives from 1999 to 2004. This is the guy who took Amazon from a multi-million-dollar company to a multi-billion-dollar company. And so he's taking all of that technological know-how and he's making it available to us. I mean, he owns 43 patents. He's 41 patents. He's an MIT graduate. We're very excited, very happy to have him with us. And it just gives you an idea of the depth of our of this app that we're about to launch in the first quarter of this year. Very exciting. I can't wait. Some of our top competitors, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, are they our competitors? No. Why? Because these are all dating. We're a marriage app and a pre-marriage app. So are they competitors? Because they're in the same relationship space, but not really. The truth of the matter is we don't have any real competitors. But just let me tell you about Tinder. Tinder has 75 million users. Their pricing is $30 a month. And so they have, in 2021, they had $1.6 billion in revenue. And you can do the numbers as you look down the rest of them. Our app is a subscription-based app as well. And that app is going, if we do 100,000 users, as I'll show you in a moment, you're going to see that the numbers are phenomenal. Now, the way we're different is that we're a marriage-based platform. We're going to be offering virtual counseling, courses and workshops, comprehensive audio and video resources, and in real-life events. Now, the beauty of this one is that our marriage side is going to be able to provide not only help online, but our married people are going to be able to find other couples in their area through the app where they can form a marriage community and help and encourage each other. We have a marriage community in Atlanta. And in Atlanta, we've helped so many couples, so many people get through their trials and their challenges simply by being in front of other people, around other couples who are actually valuing their marriage and trying to make it work. Now, here's the beauty in this whole thing. We have what's called an extended an extended customer lifetime value. Let me tell you why. Our pre-marriage community matches people, okay? In order to become a part of the pre-marriage community, you have to do an onboarding, roughly about 130, 140 questions. Once you do that, we find a match for you. Unlike Tinder, where you're going to have to be swiping left and right, we're not swiping. We're going to find one match. And here's the kicker. That match, you will not be able to see that match. You will see an avatar that you created during the onboarding process. So you'll have an avatar talking to that avatar. You will mutually agree to remove it after a minimum time of maybe like 36 hours or 48 hours. You will mutually have to agree to remove that avatar so you can actually communicate to each other. What's the reason for this? We want people to get to know each other from the inside out and not like a lot of the apps from the outside in. We're trying to change the game. We're turning this thing from a meat market to a mate market. I don't know if you knew this, but Tinder and Bumble and possibly Hinge has roughly about 70%, 70+% men who subscribe to the app because it's a meat market. We're trying to change that game. In fact, we're going to change that game. So you have the pre-marriage community whose purpose is solely to get you ready to find that person who you can spend the rest of your life with. Once you've done that, you switch to our marriage community. Our marriage community will then take you and you will have resources available to you. You'll have vacations or whatever, anything that married people need, step parenting, whatever, it's available in the marriage community. This is why it's a lifetime value proposition, because you go from pre-marriage to marriage. You don't ever have to leave the app. Okay? Now, let's talk about investments. With 1 million subscribers, which is our target, okay, and which is not Julius and I were talking about this, 1 million subscribers is not unusual. In fact, there's an app out there called Black, BLK, and they've done, they're about 2.6 million, or maybe more than that, close to 3 million downloads in the time they've been out. Now, they've really only been on the market for like 3 years. So roughly about 1 million downloads a year. And if you look at a conversion rate, let's say if they're converting 25% of those downloads to actual subscriptions, you can do the math and see that it's an incredible money-making machine. For 100,000 paid subscribers at $14.99 a month, we're looking at 1.5 million in monthly revenue, which equals 18 million in annual revenue. These are not fantasy numbers. These are real numbers. These are numbers that are not only attainable, but they are going to be attained, okay? Now, right now, I know that Tawana had said that in the previous that we were raising $300,000, and that is, now we do have $1 million a million shares that are available, but we are doing a $300,000 raise. But I want to share something with you, and Julius, you can chime in at this point if you'd like. One thing that I want to share is that what you saw on the seat at the table, we haven't fully launched that and advertised the seat at the table, but we've had so many angel investors come to us at this point that we do have that our so far we've raised much more than just the $250. We have angel investors that we're entertaining right now. Julius, you want to jump in and just chime on?
Absolutely. And we just had a call on yesterday. They really don't want us to move forward with the campaign because they want to be the only investors for this particular platform. But we're excited because, individuals like yourselves, we had already talked to Tawana about introducing it to you guys. And so we wanted to make sure that we did what we committed to do, and that is to present this information to you guys to give you an opportunity to take part in this incredible app opportunity. And so we're still moving forward. You guys see the platform where we're looking to raise the 300,000 only on that platform, but again, they're looking to really fund the entire program. And so there may not be that many opportunities coming up in the near future within the next couple of weeks or so. But you guys can get in while the opportunity does exist. Calvin, if you could go to that last slide, I can kind of share with you guys really the steps for moving forward if you would like. Now, we do have the platform on Seat at the Table. And so that information was shared with you guys, but you can send an email as well to Calvin at calvinroberson.com, including the following information, and we can get more information back out to you guys as well, because we're doing this based on and utilizing a safe agreement, and we'll be able to share with you the terms of that safe agreement. You can wire those funds as well, and then we can send you a hard copy for the with the executed safe agreement. You can kind of close that out now, Calvin, if you don't mind. But you can also go to the platform, and the platform allows you to do a minimum of $250. And again, this opportunity may not be up long because of the fact that we have other investors that are wanting to give more than $1 million, actually. Guys, because they've seen the potential of this app, there is nothing out there like it. Absolutely nothing like it. And if you guys don't understand the difference, just understanding that being married and having all of the resources at your fingertips, but also being in a position where you want to be married and being matched to the person that fits you, and then being able to transition from that to the marriage side so that you can have a successful marriage is incredible within itself. And so with that, we want to go ahead and turn it back over to you, Calvin. If there are any things that you want to close with, we can go ahead and do that at this time.
Yeah. My wife likes to say, that FOMO is real, the fear of missing out. And she said that, I just want to say that because I remember back in the 90s, yes, the 90s, I was a stockbroker. I started out as a stockbroker for a little company called J.C. Bradford. I was the only Black stockbroker in the entire company. And what was interesting about that is that I remember selling Yahoo stock. I was a New York Stock Exchange registered rep, only one, hustling, doing my thing. I remember we had a big sell on Yahoo, and it wasn't really that known, that well. But I did buy some Yahoo. I sold it, I don't know, probably about 8 months later, made enough money to pay down payment on a house, actually. But I remember that, and I said, wow, I wish I'd held on to Yahoo. I wish I had in the early 90s. Imagine now where I would be. Let me share this with you. This is your opportunity to get in with something that's going to have an incredible yield. And so you don't want to be guilty of having the fear of missing out. Because years later, because this is going to happen. We're not just pipe dreaming here. This is something that's going to happen. I told Julius that, what, if it's possible, if it's necessary, I'll try to fund it myself. But we want to put it out to investors. And they told me, nope, put it out to the investors because we want investors to be in. It's better. There's safety in numbers. There's safety in numbers. And also it mitigates the risks when you put it out there for investors. So that's why we're doing this. Tawana, I think you had something you wanted to share.
I just want to thank you for putting it out there, right? When you have something like this, it is easy to get the funding for it because it is innovative. I did my due diligence, right? And everybody has to do their own because our risk levels are different. But I couldn't find anything like this. I looked, right? I couldn't find anything at all. I couldn't find even, forget an app, I couldn't find a website that had a massive amount of resources to help married people. I couldn't find anything like this. And so the fact that you have such a gem, and I am not a financial advisor, I do not play one, on the 10K project. You have to make the decision for yourself if you want to add this into your portfolio. But I'm telling you, based on what I looked for, I couldn't find it. And I feel like this is a a wonderful opportunity that you're bringing to the everyday investor, right? Because we know that VCs look for innovation. They look for one of a kind, right? Companies. This matches a profile of what an angel and a VC is looking for. And I am not surprised. I kind of smirked when you said they want us to end the campaign. I'm not surprised at that, right? I tell the community all the time, when we see something we like, we got to make a decision and get in quick, because these campaigns can get the money that they need infused at a drop of a dime, right? When they come with the gem, they're gonna get the money. And in my personal opinion, not financial advising opinion, but my personal, as an investor, right, as a serial investor, this is something you need to pay attention to and really activate if you are interested. Thank you guys for bringing this to the everyday investor. Thank you so very much. This is an opportunity that someone will look on in 20 years, Pastor Cal, and say, I did hold my marriage ain't for punk stock, right? I did hold it, and look at us now. So thank you guys very, very much for bringing it to the investment crowdfunding space.
So Tawana, you know, it's interesting because I remember when Calvin first presented this idea to me, and he called me up and he shared it with me, and I literally told him, and I mean, you know, he mentioned to you guys, we've done a lot of things together, and he has a ton of creative ideas that he presents because that's just how his mind works. But I remember telling him, this is by far the best idea that you've ever come up with. And why did I share that information with him? I shared that with him because this is something that he's been doing now most of his life, right? He's in the space on national television doing just this. And so it is who he is. And so for him to now put together an app and take all of the knowledge that he has gained over the years that he's been counseling and married couples and even single couples that want to be married, and bring that together with all of what he's doing now with matchmaking, it is such an incredible opportunity for individuals to be able to take part in for something that he's known for. And so that's why I'm so excited about it, because of his level of expertise, you know, and the experience that he has and the knowledge that he will bring to so many households that'll help them improve their relationships, not just marriages, but relationships in general. So for those individuals that are on this call, if you haven't had the opportunity, married or not, to read his book or listen to it on audio, because it's on audio as well, and it's read by him. And so if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, it's something worth doing. But there's so much more to come from this app, and that's something that I'm truly excited about.
Yeah, I'm also excited about the layers of it, right? So you go from pre-marriage, and you even talked about divorce counseling, right? So, you know, in my family, people get divorced and they're still part of the family. We don't kick you to the curb. You still get to come to the cookouts, right? Because we were once family, and so we still are. And so, but that's a very difficult conversation, and a lot of people don't believe in that, right? And so to be able to have even that divorce counseling that you mentioned, right? We still have to parent together. We still should be able to have fun together. Just because the personal, intimate relationship didn't work, there's still friendships that we've developed and you know, over the year. So I love the layers. Like, you meet, when they say meet somebody where they are, you are doing that in this app. You are meeting us at all levels of relationship building. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. You know what, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we were talking about it, and actually that I give my wife credit all the time, because that's really something that she was saying also, because we both are second timers. I mean, we were married first, very young, very dumb, but we made mistakes. We didn't know what we were doing, and so, but this time, now we're 15 years in, going strong. Just incredible person that I'm married to. And she said, you know what, people who went through what we went through, and really, really bad marriages, they need help also. And so we were like, wow. I was like, wow. So a part of the marriage app is a place for people who are contemplating divorce. How do you go through the steps? I mean, I use there's a chapter in my book, Marriage Ain't for Punks, where it talks about how there's a time to punk out. You know, there's a time to leave. And it gives you strategy on how to leave and remain civil. How do you leave and not hate each other? How do you leave and do what's best for the kids? And so these are all things that, I don't know, I haven't seen on an app. In fact, and thank you so much, Tawana, for saying that, because the only app that I know of is the one in UK. And the reason I know about that app is because they approached me and wanted me to work on their app. They have 250,000 subscribers as of 21. I haven't talked to them since, but they had 250,000 subscribers at that point, at about $13.99 per subscriber. Now let's look at those numbers. They're making an incredible amount of money, and they're offering very little. So I said, hey, we can do that and better. So I'm excited, and thank you guys so much for your support and for your positive words. And I'm ready for any questions if there are any out there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start because I got some, and I'm an investor too, right? So the rest of y'all go and put them questions in the Q&A because your girl getting ready to get it started. So I want to understand the marketing plan, right? I know you're doing some of the talk shows and all that stuff, and you bring celebrity to this conversation, right? So I'm sure anytime you call, someone's going to be, absolutely, we want to come and hear about it. So let's talk a little bit about what that marketing looks like.
I'm so glad you asked that. We are so privileged to have a marketing beast with us. She's my publicist for a number of years, and now she's with me on this app, and she has already lined up all that you saw with KTLA, which is a bigger deal than I even thought it was, with KTLA, with all the Fox, et cetera, et cetera. But she told me just yesterday when I talked to her, she said, you know what? I am not going to unleash the hounds right now. She said, because everyone I talked to, she talked to GMA, Good Morning America, and they said, yeah, we want to have Pastor Cal back to talk about the app, but we need it launched. And once it's launched, we want that. Okay. So she said, they're ready. We talked to other people that she said, like Kelly and Mark, what is it? Kelly and Mark Live or whatever it is, whoever they are. And then other people, then there are other people out there that she's actively involved with approaching. I mean, even Sherry Shepard, who's a big fan of not only Married at First Sight, but Marriage Ain't for Punks. She and my wife communicate, because she loves what we're doing, and that's another avenue that we're going to be utilizing. In addition to other influencers, we have some influencers now. I had to cancel a call with one of them today who has about 19 million followers. We have other influencers with multi millions of followers, but even bigger than that. Paria was blowing my mind, my publicist, because she was saying that she said, hey, look, my idea is to put she wants to do a billboard, I think in Rodeo Drive. We're going to do billboards, and in some posh areas here, bus wraps. What did she say, Julia's gas station? She's like gone with this thing. She says, give me the word. I already have things set up. In fact, she's right now out pitching for it, just dropping seeds. This is her New York week. So she's in New York this week, just dropping seeds, getting ready for this app. So we have some serious marketing initiatives planned. And all she's waiting for and her team's waiting for is for us to say, okay, fine, let's flip the switch.
Very, very good. Very good. Sounds like a great plan. So you're looking to raise $1 million. The app will be launched, you said, this quarter. So it sounds like you've already got the tech built, right? And ready to go pretty much, maybe putting some final touches on it. So what will the money be used for that you raise?
Julius?
No, that's actually it. We do have the technology company. What we've done over the last 6 months is did the entire flow of the app, doing flow charting, from entry point all the way throughout the app, as well as building user interface, the look and the feel of the app. And then what is happening is with our funding, the company will then come in and take all that we've developed and just code it. And one of the things that they told us is that they gave us an estimate in terms of the amount of time that it will take. It will more than likely be closer to the second quarter, the first and second month of the second quarter, when we officially launch the app in the app stores. We may have something out before then that we're doing beta testing with, and that's what we're really gaining the funding for, as well as, and this is some of the flow charting that we've been working on, but as well as the marketing. There's a lot of marketing that will be done and advertising that will be done, not just on social media. I don't know how many of you guys are following Calvin. He has close to over 250,000 people himself, but we do advertising there. We've also talked about doing advertising in between the shows, so having commercials. So when his shows are airing and millions of people are watching, a commercial comes on, and there's a commercial on the Marriage Ain't for Punks app with him promoting it. And so these are already people that are interested in what he's providing and interested in the show, but now can get more information for their relationships. And so all of that costs a significant amount of money, as well as the staff that needs to come aboard in terms of managing the technology and the day-to-day operations of the organization, as well as customer service for people that have customer service questions. And so, trust me, money goes pretty quick when you're developing a major company such as this. But those are what the funding are going to be utilized for as they come in.
You know, it's funny because as you're, and I've been talking about this and the rest of the team. It's like I had no idea this was this huge. I'm like, hey, let's do an app. But I said, wait a minute. It's not just an app. We actually have started a tech company. This is a tech company, and the company's name is Affiance Systems Corporation, AFFIANCE. So the app comes under Affiance. So in all the paperwork, it'll be saying Affiance Systems. Affiance is actually a word that it's an old word that very few people use, but it's a word that means a legal marriage contract or betrothal, the word affiance. So the name of our company is Affiance Systems Corporation, and under that is the Marriage Ain't for Punks app. But it's such a just a very, very detailed and very, very involved process, but it's worth it. It's worth it. We're excited.
Very, very good. The other question I have is I started thinking about the abundance of resources and information, right? And when you think about the internet, and when you go to look for an answer to a question, you find one answer that says, do it this way. Then you find something completely contradictory that says, do it another way, right? And so you're still left as confused as you were before you did the search to begin with, right? How do you prevent that type of scenario from happening with the abundance of resources that you have to have in the app? Oh, he pulling something up. He getting ready to show us something.
Julie, why don't you tackle that?
Well, no. You know what's interesting about what has happened in the past, and we can just tell you based on our own experiences here in Atlanta. A lot of what the teachings come from testimonials. One of the things that Calvin did, and this was for married and people that weren't married, he did a number of sessions of what they call boot camps. And these boot camps brought in couples. It was like anywhere from 8 to 12 couples that were in the room together, and they went through an 8-week program. And in there, it was a lot of transparency, and you found out what was going on between couples and how they were dealing with the different things that, and you know, sometimes you feel like you're the only one going through that type of situation. And then you find out, no, other people are dealing with those same things as well. But then you see how people are able to take that information and transition to another level in their relationship. And I think you use that information to come back and share with other individuals. So being able to have testimonials from people who were in a particular situation that people can see, real live people that are sharing, hey, this is where I was. And because the app is broken down into all of these different segments, you can find people from all of those different areas who are willing to share that information to show people how to transition from where they are to where they want to be. And I think that's the type of resources that we want to provide in the app so that people can apply it, not just book information, but understanding what's required to get you to the point that you need to be in your relationship or marriage, because they both require that in order for you to have success.
Yeah. And I think just to add on to that, one thing that that we're doing, I'm a big believer in marriage. And we talk about resources. I don't believe that anyone knows it all. One thing that we're doing also is we're enlisting the aid of other experts. There will be other people that I've met, that I know, that we trust, who will be providing resources, also counseling, etc. You'll notice once the app comes out that we have sections rather, tabs. There'll be tabs in the app on the married people that are actually the marriage vows, like To Have and To Hold, that deals with intimacy. For better or for worse, that deal with marital stress and marital problems. For richer, for poorer, it deals with finances. And Sickness and Health deals with, you know, of course, health and taking care of yourself and training, et cetera, et cetera. Forsaking All Others deals with fidelity and what have you. And then Till Death Do We Part deals with the whole idea of staying together, what it takes to stay together forever, as well as parenting and all those things. So it's once it's out, I think you're going to see that not only will the resources be just easily accessible, it's going to be so multifaceted and just so beneficial. So I just can't wait. I could talk about it all night, but I can't wait to share it.
I love it. I'm excited. I'm like your marketing, your PR person. Like I want the app. I want to be able to say, everybody pick up your phone and download it right now. So I cannot wait to get that email from you guys that it's been launched so that we can blast it out to our network and have everybody download it too. So I'm excited about that. Couple more questions, guys. Please put your questions in the Q&A because I'm going to turn it over to you in a minute. You mentioned the fact that when you had the chart up with the what some would say are competitors, but I tend to agree with you, not so much, right? But when you had that up and you were talking about how some of the big players own, you know, multiple of those companies, the question is always going to come up about exit plan, right? And I know you guys are excited about this new venture and all that it can be. And if you've got people already throwing money at you to help you finish building it and launching it, I would imagine you're also going to get a lot of money thrown at you to buy it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you got an offer before you launch. That's how I feel about this app. I would not be surprised if somebody said, let's just let us buy it right now. What's the exit plan? What's just your philosophy around it? You know, time frame, if at all, just what let's talk exit plan in general.
For a lot of tech startups, you know, there are like a few paths. One is acquisition, which you're speaking of now. We're a larger company like Match Group that owns Tinder and Bumble and some others. And then there's so acquisition is always a possibility. The other one is an IPO, you know, where you go from private company to a public company, and you have an initial public offering, and you let the entire public then buy a certain percentage of your outstanding shares. And the third option, of course, is to just maintain as you are and build your company as is, and don't take any buyouts, and don't do it, just stay a private company. Then there's always the fourth thing, which is failure, which we don't believe is going to happen. But those are like three of the different things that can happen. Now, our plan is to build the company. Now, I'll just be straight, and Julius, you can help me out because you're the numbers guy. But if we win, because my wife tells me not to say if, when we have our first 100,000 subscribers, which is about $1.5 million per month, which translates to roughly about $18 million a year, okay? Which ain't bad for a startup company. When you're doing that, and if someone comes, let's say if it's a match group or whomever, if someone comes and they says, hey, we want to buy you out. Well, if we in the first year can do any 8-figure number, okay, or in the second year can do any 8-figure number, to buy us out, Julius, what maybe like 10 times?
You gotta come with your best game to buy out a company that's already gonna make that. I agree.
It has to be at least a 10 times offer.
Right.
That's how I would see it. You know, I was a stockbroker for like 12 years, and I didn't do M&A, but mergers and acquisitions, but I dealt with a lot of companies that did. And so one thing that I do know is that if you're going to come and a company is in a trajectory that's doing incredibly well, and you have a good track record, buying out is always an option. But trust, if we are bought out and if we agree to sell, we will keep some of the equity. Okay, so not selling everything. Even Oprah kept 21% of OWN.
Right.
Okay, and secondly, it will be at a price point where the investors will be happy. But the idea is because it's backed by me, and I'm kind of like the person that's all in the app. They would have to buy me too, and I'm not for sale, but. But you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I get it.
That's where we are.
Very
Jules, I'm going to add to that or not.
No, that was beautiful. I like that.
Okay.
All right, let's get to some of these questions. Rain said, at this point, is the app in beta testing yet, or do you have screenshots available for us to see the layout or how the layout will be?
Yes, we're not in beta testing as of yet. There are some screenshots. They were in the presentation. Those were actual app screens that were listed there. I think Calvin is looking to bring that back up so you can kind of see some of the look and layout of the app itself there. So you can see there, from the entry point there, and then on the next screen, I think it was here, and you'll see where it says couples near you, maybe some virtual and in-person events, some videos that will actually show some date night suggestions. Those are always good to have suggestions for date night, because a lot of people are not creative when it comes to date night. And so having those in place so that people can learn, hey, these are some things that we have that we can actually do. We've also talked about having date night ideas where you can, there are boxes that come already with the plans for date night. And all you have to do is open the box and just go through what the box is, and you'll have an incredible time during date night as well. So just a ton of different things that are really going to be in the app. A lot of resources that will be available as well. So.
And in addition, I just wanted to point out, you probably can't see all this, and so don't screenshot it. But this actually is the overflow, the flow chart of the app in its entirety. And so as you can see, it's quite involved. And for each of those boxes, there will be pages. So those boxes are simply that's not the app in totality. For each box there's a page or a few pages. So it's incredibly involved, which is why we had to enlist the aid of someone who is more than prepared to handle that. And Julius was sharing something with me also that as far as the gentleman that we're using, because he co-created the AWS Amazon Marketplace, AWS Marketplace, that also that we're looking at using the servers from Amazon web service, because when you look at the capacity and this on as far as app complexity, I would say ours is probably mid, somewhere in the medium or high medium, just based on what I know. You can help me out with that, Julius. But I think it's going to be a pretty complex app. So there's no way that we can give you everything. But we will be using servers and backup that can accommodate, the high volume load that we're anticipating.
So I love that when you just, Rain, thank you for asking for the screenshots, because it actually seeing it made me think of something. When you have the events and the date nights and all of those things, there's an amazing company called Dashable. The founders are Marvin Johnson, Tony Carter. And I liken them to a Black-owned Groupon, right? Like, how cool would it be? And I know this app is for the masses, right? It's not a just for Black people, but it does have Black founders. And so how cool would it be to partner with other Black founders to bring in some of their tech? And so Dashable could offer some of the discounts for date night, right? Kind of, attaching directly to their app. I also think about the gentleman and his wife from Eat Okra. They have all the Black-owned restaurants in every city, right? So I think about how you can partner with some of these other Black tech founders to, maybe have an API into their process to offer some of these things, just to enhance it. That way you don't have to do all the work. You don't have to build everything, right? You partner, you attach on. I just think this phase one doesn't even touch the surface, right? If I'm sitting here in my little brain thinking of all these things, I'm sure I would love to be in that flowchart session, because my crazy brain would throw some stuff at you. But phase one doesn't look like phase 10, right? And so these estimates are probably very conservative based on how big and massive this can really be. This is just wonderful. It absolutely is. Just congratulations in advance, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Now, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we do want to partner. I think that's a part of our strategy, is to have a number of different vendors within the app, okay, who are presenting their products and their services. And you mentioned, that it's not a Black app. The reason that we look, I'm a big fan of keeping our money in our community, Julius. You know that. I'm a big supporter of the Black Dollar Network, et cetera. But because of my public persona, I'm sort of out there for everybody. My show is not a Black show, so it would be very difficult for me to do a Black only app. And I think but I do believe that we'll probably have an incredible response from the Black community, because it is a Black owned app. So, but that's just something I wanted to point out.
Yeah. And I'm actually glad it's not, right? As from an investor perspective, this is something that is globally needed.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense to make it this big when you can make it this big, right? Exactly. And so that's how I see it with my investor mindset. It says the world, that company in the UK, you need to acquire them, right? That's the next time y'all connect, it's going to be for you to say, I know you wanted me to come work with you, for you.
Exactly.
Thought I'd buy you and show you how it's really.
Hey, you girl, look, from your mouth to God's ears, I'm telling you. And you know what's funny about that is that 80% of their market share is in the US. The company is based in the UK. He was actually going to fly me over, but I before I told him no. But 80% of their market share is US. So look, we're and they're the only dating app that's that pervasive in the United States. It's crazy. It's crazy. So what we're doing is just so novel, and you might be onto something. We might just go ahead and swoop them up one day. We'll see that.
Pick up another 250,000 subscribers. That would be
Another 200, there you go. Another 250,000 subscribers, automatic. There you go. All right.
That's it. Talipa says, are there any plans to, and I hope I pronounced your name properly. If I did not, I do apologize. Are there any plans to include self-development resources or coaching for the pre-marriage demographic, regardless of whether they get matched on the app? That's a wonderful question.
Great question, Taliba. Is it Taliba or Taliba? I'm not sure. But to include self-development resources, yes, absolutely. One thing that we want to do for the people who are married, who are getting married in the pre-marriage side, is we want to, and again, my wife, to give her credit, it's called, what you call it, like an accountability, always an accountability section where we do introspection. And we look at ourselves, and there will be counselors on both sides of the app, because we want people to develop themselves. We want people to ready themselves for marriage. And I think that the downside with the apps now is that you just get people jumping on the app. There's no real vetting. There's not, you could be mass murderers. There's no telling who you are. You just jump on that app and you're matching people. And there's no one guiding you. There's no counseling. A lot of these people are not prepared for marriage. There's some horror stories on these apps, And so what we're trying to do is to get people to, if you're on as a single person, you can go to the Ask the Experts, and you can ask questions, I'm having trouble in this area. Where can I find help? Or how do I get help with me? It seems like I'm attracting the wrong people, or whatever. I want that to be a part of the single side also. So yes, there will be resources for people who are in the pre-marriage phase, people who want to better themselves and to get ready to become, a great life partner. That is an incredible question. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, in addition to that, Tawana, I know we've talked about this, having sessions where Calvin has videos that go over how to prepare yourself for marriage. Literally, what steps you need to take in order for you to have a successful marriage on the pre-marriage side. And so it's almost like a course that you're going through to make sure that you're in the right mindset. Because if you go into it in the right mindset, and then all of a sudden your chances of being successful are much greater. It's almost like people who go through pre-marriage counseling before they get married, because you're now addressing things before they become an issue in your relationship, which a lot of people never think about. And so as a result, it helps you with conflict resolution and all of those types of things in order for you to be successful.
Absolutely. And some of my most successful couples that I've counseled outside the show, they had pre-engagement counseling. Because quite often people do pre-marriage, but a lot of times when people do premarital counseling, it's like they want a rubber stamp on the decision they've already made. Help us to get ready to be married. No. You want to get counseling to help you to get ready to this, to be engaged. Because once you're engaged, in the Bible, you were betrothed, which was actually a contract. So when people want they were betrothed, you're not going nowhere. But we want people to get counseling before they even get to that state where they're thinking about marriage. I'm a very big believer in therapy, and I believe that and not only I believe there will be licensed therapists on the app that are going to help people, direct themselves so they can get ready.
Very, very good. I see a question. So Talisha, my business partner, best friend, and our admin tonight has a question. She's a tech guru, amazing tech professional. And she says she's interested in knowing the tech stack, if you can share that. So if you can talk about a little bit of the tech, is it all built on AWS, or what is the tech stack?
Julius, I'm going to add, look, I do the app, I know nothing.
So SQL is, so the gentleman, Frederick, actually is a co-founder of AWS, okay? He's one of the co-founders. So, a lot of people didn't know that co-founder of AWS was a Black guy, right? And so, he still holds a patent for that. So one of the things that he did is when he left, he formed a version of that, of the technology that he provided to Amazon. He basically took his patent information, which is why he has 41 patents, and he actually built his own system because he said he wanted to do the same thing for the Black community or people in the Black community that he did in the other communities. And so, which is why he decided to make that move. And so a lot of our platform will be built using the patented developments that he's already created. And we will be using AWS for servers and some other things like that. But most of it will be built on the SQL platform that he actually has.
Very good. Talisha, did that answer your question, dear?
That it did. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, Rain says, good evening. I'm a fan of the show Married at First Sight. My question is, will the app be using the same or similar metrics that you all use for matchmaking on Married at First Sight, or is that proprietary to the network?
That's a great question. We will not be using the exact same metrics. One thing that will be done in the onboarding is there will be a questionnaire. Okay. Now for the show, there's a 75 question questionnaire just to sign up for the show. And then there are about 520 questions that you have to answer after you sign up for the show. And then after that, there's counseling. I mean, you have to go, we have to vet you, and then you have to go through psychological counseling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. We are hoping, and a lot of this we can do through AI will be involved. You know, it'll be a part of our onboarding. There will be questionnaires. There will be extensive questionnaire based on your lifestyles, based on your values, based on your politics, based on your religion. And there are sections that you will have to answer. We're gamifying the question and answer period so that it's not boring, it's not tedious. So, you know, there'll be pictures and so just a number of different things to make the questions, you know, engaging. But there will be questions, and those questions will then go into our algorithm, and there will be, you know, Rob will have to tell you that, you know, as far as how that's going to, you know, develop a profile of who you are. But it will develop a profile of who you are. And then that profile, of course, will be matched with other people, and we'll find out what's the best match for you. And then here's the beauty of that, is that as you're going through your dating process and you match with that one person and you decide to both remove the avatar, there's going to be a dating coach that will be assigned there. It'll be an AI coach that's going to be assigned. And as you're going through, if they're, you know, it's going to give you suggestions. It's going to give you questions. It's going to tell you, well, here's what to do on your first date. These are some questions you might want to ask. These are some of the things you might want to, you know, notice. Some things that we're hoping that you're looking for. If they find out that you're an introvert through your questionnaire, then it's going to tell you, look, we're hoping that you can come out of your shell. If it finds that you're an extrovert, or that we're hoping you can tone it down. So we're hoping that there's going to be, this is now, mind you, this is the highbrow, I'm giving you a very highbrow, okay, estimation of how this is going to work, because this is what we're expecting to happen. So yes, there will be metrics. Will it be Married at First Sight? No, not exactly. In fact, you know, they might try to come and steal mine. So
I love it. I love it. Jackie Frederick said, you talked about the mental health and the counseling aspect of the app. There's another company called Mental Happy, Black-owned company. CEO is Tamar Blue. That's the company that Jackie's referring to. She's got an amazing mental health platform. I saw another question in here, Ron. Ron, you know you're supposed to put these questions in the Q&A, so I don't have to scroll. Ron's question is, how does an investor receive a return on this investment? Is there a monthly, a quarterly, or annual return? And if so, what is that percent? So let's talk a little bit about the SAFE note, right? To make sure everybody understands. So a SAFE note stands for a simple agreement for future equity, right? And so this is not a priced round, right? So there are no shares today. What the SAFE note essentially is you are going into this agreement to say that when we have a priced round, you are going to have preferable treatment in that price round, favorable terms, because you got in early. So that's essentially what the safe note is, Ron. So this is not a price down round. So we're not talking shares or ROI at this point. So I guess my question to you gentlemen are, what does this fundraising journey look like, right? When we talk about future raises, do you anticipate doing a Reg A and a Reg D and all of those things that make the IPO option more probable? So let's talk about that fundraising journey a little bit, if you can.
Well, yeah, right now we're obviously not looking to put out an IPO on the company, but we do have some stipulations in terms of when the SAFE will be converted to equity, and there's a cap of 15 million. So once the valuation hits 15 million, that conversion will happen, or it could happen before then. What I mean by that is, let's say, for instance, the investors that we're already talking to that want to do million plus, and then, once they buy in, and then we'll form what the valuation is, not only that, but what the equity price is, and then we come back and convert everybody that has a SAFE over to equity at that point in time. And so that's probably going to happen sooner versus later. And so we are excited about that. Now, we do have the option just for individuals to know, and for Ron, for you to know, where we have the option to still pay out dividends to SAFE holders. All right. We kind of talked to the attorneys about that in the event that, we raised 300,000, got the app launched. We didn't have any angel investors, but we come around. We're not at a $15 million valuation yet, but at the same time, we've made a couple of $1 million, and we decide we want to share dividends with those individuals. We still have the option to do that. So without it being equity. And so we can kind of come up with that price point at that point in time. But I just have a feeling that won't happen, because all of the SAFE agreements will be equity because of what's happening right now, where multiple people are wanting to be a part of this. And the only thing about it is that they don't really want any other investors. We just made this commitment, decided we were going to follow through with it, because we did make the commitment, so that individuals do have an opportunity to invest. And then we'll just deal with them, letting them know, hey, listen, we already have investors. They were in from the beginning. We're going to honor them. Whatever you want to do, you can do on top of that. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
Guys, do you hear this? I want to make sure you heard that, right? Because this is not the time, the time to dilly or dally, right? This is the time to act. And so if this is something you're interested in, don't play games, right? We're here because we got tired of being left behind. This is an opportunity not to be left behind. But if you play games with this, you're going to miss the opportunity. Then it's nobody's fault, right? I don't hear no whining. I don't want to hear the I shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because this is an opportunity. I'm not trying to convince you on it, right? That's not my job. But what I do want to make sure is that you got your mindset right after we get off this call and you go to do your due diligence. So to make sure, if this is something you want, that you don't play around with it. They have investors. The investor would like for them to not move forward with this, but because they are men of their word, they made a commitment to come here to our community. They're following through with that.
Right. And in addition,
well, that's what you call a blessing, y'all.
That's what
that is.
What's also is, I think for any investment, I mentioned that, I've been a stockbroker from the past. And the one thing that I think is always important is when anyone who's a part of a startup has skin in the game. And I know that angel investors, VCs, one thing that they ask is, how much skin in the game do you have in it? If you ever watch Shark Tank, that's one of their questions they ask you. And let me just say, I got skin, I got teeth, I got bones, I got, I got I got money in this game, So, and that's because I believe in it. I believe in it. And, so It's not just a matter, in fact, and I mentioned this earlier, I'm willing to, you know, if we had no angel investors, I would be my own angel investor, you know, but it doesn't make sense. But I'm willing to do whatever is necessary for this to, for us to launch this thing. And it's going to happen. I have no question, no doubt whatsoever that this will be launched, and that in 12 months' time, we're going to be looking at a company that's going to be changing the game. That's it. And I you know, as a person, I'm with you, Tawana, as somebody who's invested, you know, significant money in a number of places. I don't have stocks. I got rid of them. You know, it's here. Everything's here. So that's where we are.
Very good. Let's put our final questions in the Q&A. Talisha, do we have any questions in Facebook?
Not at this time.
Sorry for them.
Oh, trust me, they'll still be watching and they'll have some questions. So I'll let you know if they ask anything I don't know the answer to. I think the only question I have left is, I noticed in the presentation you had the information for anyone that is interested in investing, right? It was the send an email information. If you can put that slide back up, that'd be great. What way do you prefer us to do this? Do you prefer us to go through the campaign page or to send the email information?
You know, we had the email information. As a matter of fact, if you could take this down, Calvin, you don't have to worry about putting that back up. Just take it down if you don't mind. There's a better place for you to actually go, and I actually like this a little better, and that is marriageaintforpunks.com/investments. Okay, marriageaintforpunks.com/investments, because there's a little form that you can complete. And you can just submit that information. It has all the same things that's on that slide, but it's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about the email and sending an email. You just fill out that form, marriageaintforpunks.com/investments. And then you just fill that information out and send it in. And from that point, you know, we can, and I think it has a comment section on there as a note section. If you can just put the 10K project, that would be great. We would love to know that you are from the 10K project. And so I think that's the best form of communicating with us, so that we can, you know, get all the necessary information back out to you.
Wonderful. So Talisha, when we put the replay out, use this site versus the campaign page.
Yes.
And if we can do the same thing in the Facebook Live, let's change out the
It's already there.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, sweetheart.
That's good.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Community, do you have any more questions before I give my final statement and call to action? And then I'll turn it over to these gentlemen to give theirs. I'll give you another minute or so while I do my final spiel. First of all, thank you, gentlemen, for coming. This is wonderful, right? I love, as an investor, it's always nice to see something new, right? Something that kind of makes you light up inside, like this is good. As someone who's married, I also find joy in hearing about this, right? To know that there's a resource out there. I to be careful what I say, right? So this is an opportunity. Things don't happen by mistake, right? We all know that, right? I don't believe there's such a thing as coincidence. I think there's divine order, and then there's everything else, right? And so anytime we reach out to a founder and things work out, right? And they accept our offer to come and everything works out, that's a wonderful thing, right? We're a small shop here. You know, we're just a group of everyday people trying to get ahead. And so it's always wonderful when someone sees value in us, right? And then there are those special moments where you see, because we see a lot, I talk to a lot of founders, right? They don't all make it here, but I talk to a lot of founders. Some of them don't make it here because they don't want to make it here. Some of them make it here because I don't want them to make it here, right? But we talk to a lot of founders. And so the ones that come and the ones that make it are supposed to be here. We're supposed to be exposed to them because this is not by mistake. So often we miss the opportunity because we get distracted with so many things that are going on in the world and in our personal lives. There are those occasions, however, where we need to be clear and focused because there are opportunities in front of us that we have to do something in order to bear the fruit, right? We can't sit still, right? And so for me as an investor, I know that when I see something that intrigues me and the maths, right? And the due diligence works out and I find out enough information to know that there's legitimacy and that there's a market for it and that competition is minimal. All the things you look for in investment that you make. And that it matches my risk tolerance, profile, and that it fits nicely in my portfolio because there's nothing else like that in it. And all of those things that you look for when you do due diligence. When those things come together and they align nicely, we should act. And so to this community, I am telling you that I need for you to sit down over the next couple of days, do all of those assessments for yourself, right? Decide if this fits in your portfolio, and then I need you to act. And I need you to act in a way that you are really thinking about your future and really thinking about it from an investment standpoint, right? If I invest this much and this company does this well, then what could my ROI be, right? So when you do that, you may not want to just do the minimum, because when you do that level of assessment, the 250 minimum may not be enough. That's the kind of exercise I need you to do when you look at this campaign and all the other campaigns as well, but we're talking about this one tonight. I also need you to do it in a timely manner, because as you heard, this campaign won't still be up and running, guys, right? For as long as some campaign, right? We see some campaigns that stay open for 6 months. This ain't that, right? This ain't that. And so you need to make that decision and act upon it, right? And so I just wanted to say that very clearly, right? Because I don't want to hear in 6 months, I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I don't want to hear it. Not about this one. I don't want to hear it. This is an opportunity that we've been given. We already know that there are not enough Black founders raising capital via investment crowdfunding, as there should be. And when we get an opportunity where the maths, we need to take advantage of that opportunity if it meets our personal investment profile. So if it meets yours, you know what to do. We're going to put the website in the newsletter that we're going to send out to everyone with the replay. We'll also have it in the Facebook group. If you want to watch this again, it's going to stream in the Facebook group, or when you get the email from us, the replay will be there as well. So you guys are not new, you're members, you know what to do. I just thank you all for showing up this evening live. I know for those of you who are going to watch the replay, I hope you do not procrastinate watching this replay because if you do, you might miss it. Stephen says, is it marriageaintforpunks.com/investments?
Yeah, he needs to leave off the apostrophe.
No apostrophe.
No apostrophe.
And it's
No
already in
apostrophe.
there. If you look at the site, I put it in there in the chat. Just look above.
Yeah, Stephen, look 2 comments above where yours is and take the apostrophe out of ain't.
But thank you for being grammatically correct.
Right. And I'm going to go before Calvin, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead. Yes, Julius.
I want to share just a couple of things. Number one, I want to reiterate something that I shared before, and that is the exciting thing that, not only is Calvin being viewed by millions of people every single week on national television doing this, but it is something that he has lived for years. And before television, this is what he was doing. It's interesting how he got on the television show. It was because of a couple that he recommended. people, they came to him asking about a couple. Did he know of a couple? And he sent that couple, and they talked about his counseling so much that they wanted to come film at the church him doing a session. And after they filmed him doing a session, they were all on the phone like, we got to get this guy on some of our other shows. That's how he ended up on television, because of what he was already doing. And so because of that, you know, it is why I'm so excited, because now the world gets to see what he has to offer and what he can bring to families. So I'm really, really excited about, you know, what other people are now going to get exposed to more than what they just show on television, because you get clips of counseling on shows, but there's so much more counseling that he's doing on the show that never ever ends up on television. And so that's exciting for me. And then I want to also go ahead and thank the individuals who have already decided what they wanted to pay, because my phone has been going off here ever since Tawana started talking with individuals who already have made a commitment to do an investment. I just want to go ahead and say thank you for that. We'll be getting that information out to you as to what you need to do so that we can move forward. And then with that, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Calvin.
Wow, thanks, Jules. I appreciate that, man. Checks in the mail. But no, this is it for us. This is what we do. This is not a part-time gig. This is not something we do on the side. This is our life. Wendy and I, we actually, as I mentioned, we had unsuccessful marriages before, and we both had decided we'd never be married again until we met each other. And then we decided, you know what? Okay, fine. This is meant to be. And so at that first year of our marriage, we decided that we were going to start giving back to other couples. I had been counseling couples, even as a divorced person, I was still counseling couples. But for the last 15 years, we've been really into this, and it's just been an incredible blessing. And I'm elated that we have an opportunity now to expand this, to expand what we do. And as Jurish was saying so eloquently, and I so appreciate it. Just from an investment perspective, I mean that's sort of like the byproduct of what I do, because what I really want to do is to see people's lives change, to see families healed, to see people find the loves of their lives. Because honestly, relationships is what we live for, man. It's what we live for. And no matter how jaded or how pessimistic people come about marriage or about relationships, everybody still wants it. Everybody still wants love. Everybody still wants somebody in their life. You can talk all the crap you want to talk, but everybody still wants somebody. And that's why this is an industry that will never end. It's something that will always be in style. Marriage, relationships. And so I think that this is, outside of the financial piece, which is going to be substantial, the whole idea of us being able to help couples and help individuals and help people find the loves of their lives. I mean, it's just an incredible opportunity. And then for it to be a Black-owned company, a Black-owned, I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, somebody might say, well, BOK is Black-owned. Well, no, it's Match Group. Match Group owns BOK. They bought them. They buy everybody. Now, I ain't mad at BOK. Like I said, if the price is right, but it's what's best for the investors. But I really, really, really thank you guys for this opportunity, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see just how awesome this is going to be on the other side once we're successful and this thing is thriving.
Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. We got one final question. Ms. Patrice says, I understand the urgency, but how long do we actually have to do our due diligence?
You know what? I'm going to say, okay, let me put it in perspective. We have to respond to our angel investor. What, Julius, probably within the next 7 days?
Actually, they wanted it earlier. I think she reached out again on today. So we're putting together information that they requested. And so it'll be this week. when we actually get back to them.
Right.
And again, once they've decided that they want to move forward, they've already asked us not to move forward. But at that point, you know, people already put up their money.
Right.
So, you know, we want to roll and honor those individuals. So the real answer is we don't really know.
We don't know. We don't know for sure. But what we did tell them is that what I told when we talked to them, was that yesterday? Yeah. When we talked to them yesterday, I told her, I said, listen, I understand that, you know, the angel investor wants to buy out everyone. Of course, we can't force anybody to sell anything, but what we can do is that, for instance, I give you my personal opinion. If I had $10,000 invested and somebody came along and said, well, I want to put 3 million in and I want to buy out everything and I want to buy your $10,000 worth, you think I'm going to sell? Probably not. Because if you think enough of this to drop in 7 figures into this investment, maybe I need to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying. So we did tell them that we're as being in the early stages of our fundraise, that we don't have massive investors right now. And we have some investors who, to them, it's a substantial amount, but we don't have massive investors right now. So all that being said, as Julia said, while we don't know, we do know that it won't be long, and that anyone who is invested prior to them agreeing to be that, to give us the required funds, those people will probably still be invested, because I'm not inclined for people to sell. I'm just not inclined to do that. I would prefer those who have it to have it. But we'll see. That's what. But even if we do, even if you do sell your shares to someone else, you'll sell them at a profit. Worst case scenario.
Right. Very good. Okay. This has been wonderful, gentlemen. Thank you again so much for allowing us to be part of your capital raise journey and for a part of this such a wonderful venture that is truly going to change lives, and save families and all the amazing things that it's going to do. So congratulations again. And thank you so much to the community. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for always being rocking with us at the 10K Project. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Peace and blessings to every one of you. Good night.